Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to India Education Forum. Thank you so much for being a part of this interview series. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, yes, sir. So I was just going through your LinkedIn updates, and I saw that you've just signed an MOU with National Stock Exchange for some certification programs. So what exactly is the background of this entire thing? What is the outcome that you are expecting out of this tie-up?
Okay. Uh, Number one, we need a lot of financial literacy in this country.
Correct.
If you see the mutual market, mutual fund market or stock exchange, there is a huge population which is still unaware of. Okay? So we also wish to build a financial literacy and financial awareness among the masses. Okay? Number one. Number two, NSE also wants to impart a lot of education on futures, stock trading, and other things to professionals, share brokers, and others.
Okay.
So they would like to use the expertise of IIM Sirmaur in this area.
Okay. Okay.
Number three, IIM Sirmaur is a new IIM, so we have to establish everything.
Correct.
With the help of NSE, we are also going to establish a finance lab on the campus, wherein the student will get the real-time data on the stock market, and by which a faculty can tell them about trading, options, forwarding, forward trade, etc., etc., etc. And they'll get on-the-hand experience, not just theoretical experience.
Correct.
IIM Sirmaur will invest into it, and NSE will provide that data.
Okay. Okay. So
number four, there's one more, most important. NSE will also provide internship opportunity to some of our students who can see all these trading transactions, etc., happening online and work on that. So they will be a good investment bankers in future.
Oh, that's fantastic. Actually, what you just mentioned about the internship part, that was my next question. That are they going to provide any kind of
yes, they are
hands-on experience? So that's wonderful. So what would be the what is the pedagogy that has been defined for this particular program? Are we reinventing the style that IIM usually goes forward with, or are we doing following the usual pedagogy principles that we have?
We have not yet come to that stage because, as you know, we have just signed the MOU a couple of days ago. Okay? But pedagogy varies from program to program, course to course, depending on the objectives of the course.
Correct.
Now, suppose if you take a course on, say, stock exchange or trading and other things, you can't have just theoretical pedagogy.
Correct.
After you have got the basics of theory, students must have a hands-on experience wherein they should open their laptops or open the computer system and actually trade.
Correct.
And then they know at the end of the day how much they have made or how much they have lost. And then comes the faculty's intervention on why they have lost or why they have gained. Okay? So there are different pedagogies to different subjects. But if it's a pure corporate financial management, well, a faculty can start with a balance sheet and start teaching them with that.
Okay.
So it varies from course to course, and this particular course that we are going to offer has many other course-based the subjects, okay, in it, and accordingly the pedagogy would vary.
Okay, correct. So, sir, in your opinion, what are the key challenges faced by education in implementing effective learning pedagogies in higher education system?
Well, if you see, when it comes to teaching in India, we have a lot to learn from the Western world. Correct. They are far ahead of us in terms of technology, not in terms of knowledge. We Indians are as good as, if not better, than most of the world.
Correct.
I always say that.
Correct.
Go to any field and you will see Indians shining brightly in those fields all over the world. Okay. Recently, NASA, ISRO has shown that. Okay. NASA scientists have also appreciated the talent of our Indian scientists. Okay. So, issue is that the technology. We need a lot of technology. Harvard conducts courses together simultaneously in India as well as in China. Okay. Similarly, simulation games. It's my dream to see an Indian institution, maybe an IIM or any other institution. I'm willing to collaborate with anyone. Okay, develops a nice interactive simulation game which students can play, maybe across 5 years. That is, period of simulation game can be for 5 years. Each round can be 1 year, and then student can see the effect of it on their profit and loss, okay, and go forward. So technology.
Correct.
Another thing that I always feel that we miss in India is industry support.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give actual example. I used to teach in France. And
Oh.
then a colleague of mine was teaching a course in France on luxury brands. And since it was something new to me, I was also attending that course. And then once he was handling a case study, and for that, the brand manager of that brand for which the case study was had flown in all the way from Paris to discuss that case with the students. And I was amazed because if you have created the brand, you know the internal factors of it. A
Correct.
case writer would know only the basic things at the face value.
Correct.
So it's a case writer as well as the brand creator together discussing a case, and it was an amazing experience.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So, sir, since you believe so much on hands-on training, and you also believe in inclusivity of including technology, which is very important in every aspect of education. So, how do you incorporate technology and digital tools into your, which is like IIM's current pedagogical practices, to support student learning in a more effective way?
Okay. As I told you, this NSE agreement will help us enhance our financial training in a great way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in my the colleagues in finance area are also working around in several ways to use the same technology to teach some other courses in finance area.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't belong to the finance area, so
Okay.
don't know much about it. Okay.
Okay.
But we are enhancing that technology to train our finance students.
Okay.
But when it comes to marketing, we are using technology to use simulation games. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we are also using technology in reaching out to companies which cannot come to the campus, where their brand managers in real time, when I'm teaching a course, okay, say I'm discussing a course on, say, Tata Motors, okay, and someone from Tata Motors who has owned that brand comes online and co-discusses that case with them. Okay. So we are trying to use technology in every aspect. We are trying to connect with some of the partnering institutes abroad and allowing our students to opt for the courses that are taken over there and vice versa. Their students take courses from our side.
But that's really nice to know, because unless until all of these work together, like hands-on training, including technology, having um, uh, good professors, good faculty who understand this entire thing and can actually disseminate this kind of learnings using technology to the learners, is also very important. Because as we were discussing earlier, that usually the teaching faculties are slightly in academics, especially, are slightly older, and they have a slight bit of a lethargy in kind of accepting technology or accepting new things. So it's really nice that there is a top down approach in any institute, wherein it is an absolute mandate from the top that everybody has to accept technology, because without technology things are really not possible right now. So my next question would be that how do you assess the effectiveness of a particular pedagogical approach or method in your teaching? I mean, you must have defined certain methods and certain pedagogical principles. So how do you assess the effectiveness of that? I mean, is there a way that you can actually assess the outcome of those methods so that you can fine tune it or analyze it, or kind of progress on that particular method?
Yes, Kavita. In fact, education is a field, where you get instant feedback.
Okay.
If you're a seasoned teacher, I would not like to call the word teacher because there is no teacher in this world today, okay, except our mother in the initial period, because we are all co-learners. Okay? And that's what I all firmly believe in, because whatever I learned in my MBA 35 years ago, okay, is all useless today.
Yeah.
And I have to relearn everything. Okay? So that's what I tell my students. We are all co-learners. Okay? Perhaps I had learned the basic concepts which are totally useless today 35 years ago. So let's together discuss the issues.
Correct.
So this is a field, education is a field where you can see the instant gratification or instant feedback of what you're doing. Okay. So that is one thing. Because if you know how to learn the body language of the students, you learn basically, yes, whether they are accepting it or not, they are getting it or not, they are getting benefited or not. Okay. That is one thing. Number two, informally, you can check out with them if it's working.
Right.
Number three, today we don't lecture. It's all in the form of discussions.
Okay.
So when I ask questions and if I don't get the desired answers from the students, that also tells me that the students have not got the concept correctly. assuming that my questions were asked and correct.
Okay.
And then there is a formal and informal feedback that we conduct at the end of the term, okay, for every faculty as well as for every course that has been taught. So it's a course level feedback as well as faculty level feedback that we conduct, and by which we come to know whether somewhere some improvement is required.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Number two, this is on one way. Now, when a course is planned, suppose we are planning a new course on, say, marketing strategy. Just you'll get all the examples of marketing because I'm a student of marketing area. Okay. And then, and three of us are going to co-teach that course together simultaneously to three different sections. So we shall sit together and discuss among ourselves how are we going to go through that. We will discuss the course outline together. We will finalize the pedagogy for each session together. Okay? And we will debate on that pedagogy. Why this pedagogy? Why do you want to have role plays over here? Or why do you want to have this project over here? Or why do you want to have this case study over here? There can be a better case study on that. Okay? And then suppose we accept certain course outlines, session plan. We then debate it out on cases. How are we going to approach this case? Objective is that all the three sections which are taught by or which are covered by three different co-learners, okay, must have the same inputs to the three classes. Even the board plan, as far as possible, should be same.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely.
So, and then we then evaluate the pedagogy subsequently, and then again come back that no, this did not go well last time. Okay? Students had difficulty understanding this case or relating to this concept. Okay? Perhaps look for another one. It's a continuous process.
Okay. So, sir, while designing a course, how do you ensure inclusivity, and how do you ensure that this particular course caters to diverse learning needs and preferences of students? I'm sure you must be having like a diverse crowd of learners who are coming from different backgrounds, different IQ levels, different schools and boards. So how do you ensure that this particular practice caters to all sorts of learners who are coming from backgrounds?
Generally, that's a very good question because students are of different types, and each one of them has a different type of learning. We say learning styles. Learning styles are different. You may prefer to learn in a particular way. I would prefer to learn in a particular way. Again, I have seen across the world, the attention span of this generation is far less than what it used to have a few years ago. For whatever reason. And COVID has only aggravated that scenario when the students were used to, for 2 full years, learning online. Okay. So we have to take into consideration all these factors while designing a course. Number two, we also find out from a prior experience, okay, what has gone well. That also tells us, if you take this feedback of the students seriously, okay, it tells you a lot. And that also is factored in designing the course. Okay. And then you think of an LCM and do that.
Okay.
And still, if some students have difficulty in that, like there are certain courses, like say operations research or quantitative techniques, so don't have many students with non-mathematical background or non-engineering background have a stigma towards that.
Yeah.
ये तो maths है, मुझे आएगा नहीं. We have to overcome that also. Okay. So we sometimes do special classes for them, okay, to groom them up and to bring them at par with other students.
Okay, that's nice, because I mean, talking about statistics and maths, I belong to the same category, and I remember when I was doing my MBA classes, so I belong to a non-mathematical background as well. So when I was doing my MBA classes, we did have this operations research OR as a subject, and we had a professor. He was a very good teacher, but unfortunately he couldn't tackle with the students who didn't have a mathematical background. So he would always start from ground 5 and we were on ground 0. So the learners who are from engineering background, they found it easy to understand the concepts, but for us it was very difficult. For me and a couple of my friends who belong to non-mathematical backgrounds, we had a lot of difficulty because there was a learning gap between ground 0 to ground 5. So yeah, I understand that very well, and it's really good to know that you and your institute are taking initiatives and efforts to educate those students and fill in those gaps. I wish we had such system during our times.
Come and join IIM Sirmaur once again.
Yes, sir.
IIMs also have one more advantage. They being residential courses, okay, we have hostels and students have to compulsorily stay in hostel.
Okay.
Even if he's a local student and his house may just across the campus, he will have to stay on the campus.
Okay.
It's like old Gurukul system and it has its own advantages.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure. I'm
And
sure.
if you go to those hostels, on each floor, we have kept whiteboards and markers and other things. So now let's take Kavita hasn't understood particular session in operations research, say assignment or transportation that the faculty has taught. You have not understood. But I am good in mathematics or I have that prior background of that. So I will teach all those students who had difficulty in understanding from the faculty. And that's how. And you may be good in economics and I may be dreaded and scared of economics. Okay. So you will teach me economics. And that's how I always say more than 70% of the learning in IIMs takes place outside the classroom.
Oh, it's fantastic. That's fantastic. Actually,
I remember at IIM Calcutta, we had a beautiful campus when I was at IIM Calcutta. Okay. And many times when I would be taking walks, students used to join me. So today you discuss this concept in the class and we found it amazing. Can we work on this area? And so many term papers were written during those walks on the campus.
I think it also depends on the teacher. The faculty, the teacher, because learners often get those positive vibes from the teachers and they open up accordingly. So it really is both ways, and I believe that it has to be initiated by the teacher because your personality and how you teach and your approach towards the learners, it really helps in not just teaching but in the entire character and personality building of the learner.
You are absolutely right. Look, if you are averse to meeting students, better don't join this profession.
Yeah, I know.
You are here for the students. Okay? That's a primary fact. Okay?
Yes.
Then what research you do is for your own satisfaction, benefit, and for career progression. But because you are working on a research paper doesn't mean that you should not be available to the students.
Absolutely.
Okay, at a particular time you may be busy, so give him some other time and be available at that time.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Students must get maximum importance in a teacher's life.
Yeah. So there is this concept of flipped classroom. So do you believe in the concept of flipped classroom? And if you do believe, then how do you implement this approach and what kind of benefits do you actually see in this concept?
Okay, tell me, how do you define this flipped classroom? Because yesterday I was speaking on a conference in Delhi and I realized that people have different concept of this flipped concept. So in what way are you asking me? Accordingly, I'll answer this question.
So basically, I have also heard about this concept but I am not very clear about it. So this is for me also. It's like a learning kind of a session wherein I would want to hear from you that what ideally should be a flipped classroom concept, or let's forget about what ideally it should be. What it is actually according to you, and how we can build success.
There are some experts who believe, and it's a new term for the old concept. We all had done that.
Yes.
Okay. I remember even 35 years ago when I was doing my MBA, we had one faculty member, very known faculty member, and the entire subject of organization behavior was taught to us like that. The reading material will be given by the faculty, and it works wonders. You read those and come and teach this to the others. In a modified flipped classroom concept, the faculty acts as a facilitator.
Correct.
And ask you pertinent questions, specific leading questions, and make you answer them. Okay? It's a self-learning process.
Correct.
In some other way, I've seen some faculty members divide topics to the students, okay, and students prepare for them and come and teach to the whole class. And the class and the faculty ask them questions on that to enhance their understanding or to clear some misunderstanding that they have left or ambiguities that were there in their presentation. Or in extremely other way, or sometimes what I do, it's not flip exactly. Show them the video recording of some class and say, this is what, make it available through the library, okay, on the students portal. You go through this presentation, go through all the slides, read the chapter and come to the class, we'll discuss or you explain me this concept.
Yeah, I mean, actually that that is a very interesting concept, and though this didn't exist during the time when I did my post graduation, but recently I did a course from Columbia University, and I went to New York for some of the sessions. So there I saw that this concept was there, probably not completely, but yeah, partially it was there. But I particularly feel that it can be a problem, because there are a particular number of students in the class, all might not get a chance to talk on a specific topic. But yeah, here I feel the faculty plays a very crucial role in actually identifying those students who can speak and who cannot speak, and kind of enhance uh, their personality in terms of addressing the class, and also enhance their knowledge base. uh,
Mhm.
that kind of uh, critical review of what kind of students you have, so faculty does play a very big role. So sir, my final question to you would be, as an educator, how do you stay updated on emerging pedagogical trends and research in the field of higher education, considering you are at the top of IIM, and IIM Sirmaur is relatively a new institute. So I'm sure that there's a lot of work to be done, and you're actively involved in everything. So how do you keep yourself updated between work and your knowledge building and stuff?
If you are asking me, I personally, well, I continue to teach. Even now, look at my voice. That's basically because I'm teaching two courses. One is product management and services marketing, and that both of them have come in the same term.
Mhm.
So Wednesdays and Thursdays, I take 4 sessions each.
Mhm.
So on Thursday evening, I'm not in a position to speak. That's why I've been requesting on a Saturday. Okay.
Mhm.
So best way is to remain in touch with your subject. Best way is to be in touch with your students. Automatically, you prepare yourself for that. And of course, be in touch with your faculty members from other institutes, other countries. Exchange notes on what they are doing, and with an open mind. If you are not doing something, you can pick up a lot from them. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Honestly, how to spend time with students, I learned from students, faculty from Europe.
Mhm.
I remember in France when I was teaching, a faculty member had asked me for a dinner, and then we were to go after the office hours at 6 o'clock from the school itself.
Mhm.
So after I finished my classes, I went to him, and he says, "Just I'll take half an hour more." I said, "No problem." He said, and I just sat in his room. Why did he take half an hour more? Because he had given time to one of his students to explain certain topics and to discuss certain papers.
Mhm.
And I realized how keen he was on that and how much importance he was giving on that. I
Mhm.
was a different person thereafter. He could have easily said that, oh, I got a foreign faculty member, I have to take him out. Okay, so we meet later on.
Mhm. Mhm.
But they give a lot of importance to students outside the class. And I always say, okay, a faculty member must give as much time as possible to the students outside the class too. We have to learn from them. That is not defined anywhere as pedagogy,
Uh-huh.
but that you learn a lot that way. In fact, one of my PhD students has done his entire PhD while walking around at IIM Kolkata campus.
Mhm.
We call it PhD by walking around. While walking in the evenings, he would come and discuss, and we used to discuss so many things and new ideas he used to get, new ideas I used to get, and we used to work on them. So, pedagogy need not restrict itself to the classroom. It can go well beyond that.
Yeah,
And in fact, when the students feel comfortable with you, they learn the maximum. Because
absolutely.
they open their mind. And as we all know, unless someone opens the mind, no fresh ideas go into it. So, in my opinion, any pedagogy that makes students learn and understand the concepts better, okay, is a good pedagogy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, sir, I believe IIM Sirmaur was launched in 2015.
Yeah.
So, how has the journey been for the institute so far? And you've joined IIM Sirmaur as a director last year. So, how has the journey been so far at the institute level, at your level, and what are the new exciting things that are happening at the institute?
Like any new IIM Sirmaur also had its own share of roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2015 it started. I think the director joined for the first time. First director joined in 2017,
Okay.
and she had done a great job of establishing this institution. Establishing an institution is not easy. So you have to start from scratch, and especially when you don't have your own premises.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember when I went to Trichy, I was employee number 001, and I had to look for place to stay for my own. I remember I had paid the brokerage on my own, 10,000 rupees I had paid for someone as a brokerage who had helped me look for a premises to stay. I had to select a permanent, temporary campus, get it renewed as per the requirements, and everything. So, job of a first director is always difficult, and let's acknowledge that. And she has done a great job, set up the school, okay, and now I have to take it forward. I have the foundation, and I have to take it forward. And if God willing, everything goes as per our plan, I'm sure by end of my term we should be among the top 20, top 20 business schools in India.
I'm
we are
sure.
working towards that.
I'm sure, sir. I'm sure, sir. I mean, having spoken to you over emails and over calls, I'm sure I've seen your excitement, and I have seen the kind of energies, the positive energies that you have. I'm sure that IIM Sirmaur will be at the top 10 position very soon.
Wow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolute honor having you here at India Education Forum. Thank you so much for sharing your views. If there's anything else that I can help you with, that India Education Forum can help you with, please let me know. And thanks once again for this interview.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and you have my open invitation to visit IIM Sirmaur. Okay. Very soon we are going to shift to our own campus. So if you come before that, maybe I can take you personally to the campus and we can plant a sapling at your hand. Okay, because we want the campus to be lush green when we go in. So process has already begun and the season is also right. So it's my open invitation to you. Encash it anytime.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.